Now, Donald Trump is not going to bring us together. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's just not going to happen with Donald Trump.
Thank you guys for clicking on this video. How are you guys doing? Appreciate it. Let's jump right into it because we got a lot to cover in this segment. He is a GOP analyst, the guy that just said what we all heard, that President Donald Trump is not going to bring the citizens together. Yes, if a GOP goes on CNN, by the way, on national TV to say that loud, I mean, that could mean a lot of things. Maybe they gave up on President Donald Trump and they are not happy with what he is doing as well, or they are just ready to give him a pass. You know what I mean? But if you're wondering, why did he say that? Let's watch this together.
This morning, choosing his battles and relishing the art of the fight.
If I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast.
Donald Trump takes on the Fed, the courts, and any institution that doesn't fall in line. The strategy behind the showdowns. Plus, the court rips into Trump's handling of deportations and due process and issues a dire warning as the immigration PR wars escalate. Also, RFK Jr. contradicting his own agency and sparking backlash.
I'll never play baseball. I'll never write a poem.
For bogus claims about autism. And all aboard Trump Station, the president adding one of the world's biggest transit hubs to his list of renos. Here in studio, Malik Abdul, Alyssa Farah Griffin, Harry Enton, and Jamel Hill. It's the weekend. Join the conversation at the table for 5. Good morning, I'm Abby Phillip in New York. This is a president who promised a fight, and he's delivering multiple main card matchups. In the first 90 days in office, the Trump White House has gone toe-to-toe with DEI, tariffs, law firms. He's tearing through the Department of Education and everything from early start programs to the Ivy Leagues. Judges and the court system are fueling his ire. Greenland, Canada, the Panama Canal, South Africa, and the United Nations, the media, Red Dye number 3, fluoride, USAID, the Kennedy Center, former officials from the Biden administration, officials from his own first term, AutoPen, military base names, pennies, pronouns, FEMA, flags, water pressure, national parks, paper straws, research programs, vaccines, President Zelensky, U.S. agency buildings, Governor Hochul, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, food safety inspections. That's just to name a few. It is a list that is getting longer every day, and his base cannot wait for the next round. But what does it tell us about this presidency? Alyssa, he is taking on every fight under the book, and I can only imagine it's because he believes there are no consequences. And he might be right. But I think there are a lot of people who are worried. I mean, Karl Rove earlier this week said, there's too much retaliation. He's distracting actually from his wins by fighting so much.
Donald Trump spent 4 years out of office basically fuming over losing the 2020 election and thinking and dreaming up what he would do when back in office. And he actually came up with an agenda. Some of it is Project 2025. Some of it is just simply things that he's tweeted about and talked about over the years. And he is doing it. He has staffed himself with loyalists who were told these are your specific things that within the agencies you work in, you're supposed to be doing. And he's not going to break this pace that he's working at, by the way. So we're almost 100 days in. Expect even more for the next 4 years ahead. And there's an element of retaliation for sure, which I do not think plays well even with those who elected him. But some of this is truly what he thinks his base wants to see in the government, whether it's what he's doing at HHS with RFK and with some of these sweeping changes, or even within the Department of Education. Some of it is aligned with what he ran on, campaigned on, and there's an element of the Republican Party is with him. But there is part of it that is pure Donald Trump vengeance, and that's where he gets himself in trouble.
You said we're not even 100 days, and I thought we were like 500 days.
Every day is like dog years.
Yeah, every day. I feel like a little Shih Tzu. Look, you Google, you look at Google Trends. More people are searching Trump chaos than certainly at this point in April of 2017, we're even higher for chaos in terms of searches than we were during the first term, at least on average. And, you just think of it more than that. You look at the number of executive orders he signed. It's not just a record for dating back since like 1951 was as far back as I initially looked in terms of this point through a presidency. There are more executive orders that have been signed during the first less than 100 days than any president that I could find on record. There just is so much that's going on, and sometimes, even as someone who follows this, it's like, okay, where's the bouncing ball going to end up next?
Yeah, I mean, I remember in the first Trump term, one of the things that you would always kind of hear, especially from voters, was like, I am just so sick of hearing about Trump. I am sick of hearing about what is happening in Washington. There are a lot of people in this country who are like, make my life better and stop making me think about you every day. And Trump is definitely making people think about him every day. That is what he loves to do.
One thing that I noticed when you were reading that list is like none of it had to do with making people's lives better on a day-to-day basis. He's picking fights and he's showing his pettiness all the time to the point where we're just like, all right, guy, we get it. You lost the last election and now you're using this very powerful platform to get off all your grievances. And it's like, that's not what you were elected for. You can do things to pay to your base, but you run the whole country. You don't just run your base. And so I think most people are feeling wildly uncomfortable with what they're seeing financially. We know that confidence in how he's leading to the economy has plummeted. That's the main issue that everybody said that they voted for, or rather voted against, in terms of not wanting Kamala Harris's agenda. So if the economy was number one on your priority list, what does the Kennedy Center, what does DEI, what does that all have to do with the economy? Literally nothing. So to me, it's just a complete exercise in utter foolishness and chaos that leaves people feeling much more broken than it leaves us feeling unified. He hasn't done a lot to actually bring us together.
I don't think he's
everything,
trying.
and he doesn't.
I don't think that was on
but
the
that's a
agenda this
problem.
time around.
Like, that is a problem that he's not doing anything that makes us feel like, you know what? Even though I didn't vote for him, all right, I'm good with it.
I will never get over, I had Dr. Ben Carson on the show, and he looked me plain in my face and said, no, there's no retribution. Trump is not going to, that is what these first 100 days have been about. Yes.
I was sitting by you, we're like, huh.
Ben Carson said it. The senator from South Carolina said it. I mean, it's retribution, and proudly so. Proudly so.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people felt that it wasn't going to be an element of that. And for normally presidents have one thing that they're able to do in their first year, because we go into the midterms, you're not going to get anything done then. For Barack Obama, it was Obamacare, or the health care. For Donald Trump in his first term, it was, in those first years, it was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Donald Trump, this time around, and I do agree with Alyssa, Donald Trump, it really is a lot of unfinished business. He felt as if he was not allowed to have a second term, and Donald Trump is doing not just a lot of things continuing what he did in the first term, it is those things that he always wanted to do, that many people in the Republican Party always wanted to do, and I don't think that the pace is going to lessen in any way. Donald Trump is going to keep barreling forward, and I think the important thing for him is that he wants to get as much done in as little time possible. Even though it doesn't typically work that way, Donald Trump is going to keep this pace.
So notice the word that you said is he and Republican Party. You didn't say us.
I did.
You didn't say all of us. So it's like, your number one job as an elected official, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, is to serve the people and to listen to your constituents. He is doing neither. So that means it's a failure.
Well, it's not a failure yet. Donald Trump is not going to bring us together. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's just not going to happen with Donald Trump.
What's your thought? Do you agree with what the GOP analyst said on CNN? That President Donald Trump is not going to bring the citizens together. I would love to hear from you. Let's throw in our thoughts there in the comment section. Is it yes, you agree, or no, you do not agree? You still think President Donald Trump is going to work towards bringing the citizens together, bringing the countries together? You know what I mean? We are just waiting for that to happen. At this point, we believe that the GOP, they are just ready to give President Donald Trump a pass. They are ready to let him run the country to let him run the world the way he chooses to. Y'all can see the list that he is using the government to go after. And the GOP are just folding their arms, say that's his agenda, and let the agenda just play out. But if this had been a Democrat president, do you think that the GOP will have allowed this to happen this long? This is why people are concerned. This is why people are questioning that yes, indeed, GOP have shown loyalty to their party. And now the citizens are asking for the same loyalty given to their parties to be given to the country and to be given to the citizens that elected them. I would love to hear from you. Let's continue the conversation down there. And we got more updates for sure. We will bring you guys up to date with it. Stay tuned and thank you.